this party started!
He's shining a light in the dark corners of our media.
You are fake news.
Our government.
Handling of classified documents.
And our culture.
Don't trust anyone.
It's common sense amidst chaos.
Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome.
Here's your host, Ike Wingate.
Good afternoon. It is Tuesday. It is August 19th, 2025. Glad you are with us today. Hope you have had a great morning. Good start to your week as we have a lot going on. Yesterday, historic meetings between President Trump and President Zelensky and several from Europe. And it is things that are happening. Bam, bam, bam. He just came off of that meeting with President Putin in Alaska on Friday, the guy who never sleeps, on a 6-hour flight back to D.C. and on the phone and having meetings the entire time. A few hours later, President Trump gets a round of golf in over the weekend. Did you know that? This guy never sleeps, never stops working for the American people. And whether you like what he's doing or not, if you're being honest, you can't deny this guy works harder than anyone. I mean, the dude is almost 80, right? The schedule this guy keeps, it's unmatchable. Unmatchable as far as the vigor and just how just the vitality this guy has. And it's all for us, my friends. It's all for the American people. And I don't know how you can criticize someone who's trying to make peace. Blessed are the peacemakers. They shall be called the Son of God, is what it says in Matthew. So peacemakers, there is a special place for peacemakers. And so we're currently keeping our eye on a White House brief right now. I'm going to just watch the chyrons, the things that are on the bottom of the screen, to see if it spells out, rather than bring you just this live press conference. And so we're going to get into lots of different things. But if we see something that you need to know, we will say something. If we see something, we will say something. So glad you're with us today, as we have had a kind of a random schedule here as we're still ironing out where things are going. In case you aren't aware, I am now an official Newsmax contributor. I'm part of the Newsmax team. I was in New York City last week, filling in Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday on the morning show, Wake Up America. I was filling in for Mark Lauder, co-hosting alongside Charlotte McBride. An incredible experience. I've never felt more like I was doing exactly what I was made to do. Really an incredible experience. Fantastic crew. Just really, really kind people. So just giving you an update on that. We're working on next steps, whatever that may mean. With Newsmax, it could potentially mean a weekend show. I don't know. I don't want to get out ahead, but I'm just letting you know, those of you that have been coming alongside this show for years, it is finally looking to be paying off in the way as of next steps for opportunity. One day I'll give you the ins and outs of this whole thing. Maybe I'll write a book about it, because this has been the journey of a lifetime. And it literally is the kind of thing that you are involved in and you think it's over and there's no chance. And then, everything turns, and who knows? I would love to be able to tell that story at some point. It's really God's story. It's not mine. I just happen to be present for it, to witness it. And so we'll see. That I just have thought back at how quickly things have changed in such a short amount of time. And they say sometimes the night gets darkest before the dawn, and then is a magnificent sunrise. So anyway, I'm not going to go too far in that direction, but just giving you an update on where things are in case you haven't joined us in a while. We're still bringing you the information that you need to know when we're able to do so. If you want to support the work we're doing, you can do so via Cash App or Venmo right now with $5, $10, $20, $50, $100 contribution right now at IkeReport.com. That's what goes into covering our costs here for the people that work on our videos, as well as all the subscriptions that we have to pay in order to stream these things to you, as well as the software and things that are necessary. So if you want to help us bring it to you, That is one way you can be part of the mission to bring critical thinking back to America by shining a light into the dark corners of our government, our culture, and our media. Again, via Cash App or Venmo at IkeReport.com or in the chat on Rumble. Hello to Bree, to One Theater, and to Cap Hill. See you guys in the chat. If you're watching on X, of course, open up the live chat and let us know what's going on as well. And heart the post and repost if you're watching on X. Heart the post and repost if you're watching on Rumble. Give us a thumbs up and repost, and then a thumbs up on all the other platforms. I'm officially kicked off of TikTok. I am my second account. There was no warnings. I was actually being a very, very good boy. And for some reason, they deleted my account with no explanation. They still haven't let me know. So I am officially done with TikTok. I'm never going back. I don't give one rip what anybody says. If you love TikTok, good for you, but keep it to yourself. I don't want to hear it. I'm done with them. I'll never go back. I'll never go back to TikTok. Unless they change ownership and policy to allow free speech. Otherwise, I'm not going to mess with it. So anyway, we're coming to you right now today on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble. Thank you to Cap Hill, $20 on the board. Good to see you, Cap Hill says. Great to see you, Cap Hill. $20 contribution on the board via the Rumble chat. Thank you very much, Cap Hill. All right, so we're talking about Trump and this historic peace deal. We're also going to be talking about this illegal immigrant truck driver who doesn't really seem to give a crap that he just killed multiple people. He's here illegally. There are a lot of people driving semi-trucks that can't even speak English, and the state of California gave this guy a CDL license, the commercial license to be able to drive a semi-truck, so we'll look into that. Plus, more Clinton investigations is what John Solomon is spelling out on Just the News, so we'll look at that, and new tech added at our border, plus a whole lot more. So it was a stark difference yesterday in the White House Oval. I believe that's in the Oval where they were meeting compared to last time when Zelensky got into a sparring match with President Trump and J.D. Vance. It was quite different yesterday, much more respectful, and even Zelensky wore his version of a suit. I don't think he was wearing a tie, but it was a sign of respect. And of course, Brian over at, I believe, News Nation, he's the guy who's dating Marjorie Taylor Greene. He's the one who asked Zelensky last time why he wouldn't wear a suit. He asked him, or actually told him, hey, look, it looks good. So he used that opportunity to, not just be critical, but tell him, hey, it was a good idea. It was good and respectful for you to wear the suit. And Trump, what I want you to watch here is, it's funny because Trump cracks up a little bit here. Take a look.
First of all, Mr. President Zelensky, you look fabulous in that suit.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, you look good.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, looks good.
I said to the one that attacked you last time. See, now I remember that.
Yeah, I apologize to you. You look wonderful. No, my first question for you, President Zelensky.
In the same suit. You see, I changed you.
Maybe yours is much better.
All right. So in case you weren't able to understand that, basically he said, you look fabulous in the suit. Yes, thank you. And Trump says, that's the guy that attacked you last time. Trump's having fun. And then Zelensky has a zinger and says, you, to the reporter, you're wearing the same suit. I'm wearing something different. I changed. You didn't. And that cracked Trump up, and it cracked the room up. It was actually a good vibe, if you will.
I apologize to you. You look wonderful. No, my first question for you, President Zelensky.
In the same suit. You see, I changed you.
And Trump laughed out loud. You don't see that kind of laugh, almost like a belly laugh from him. So anyway, I thought that was pretty cool to see. And then, of course, the real things that came out of this that are super important. Trump truthing out earlier today. I had a very good meeting with distinguished guests. And he names everybody, all the people involved: France, Ukraine, Finland, Italy, UK, and on and on and on, right? We had a great meeting, okay? We discussed ending the further, we during the meeting, we discussed security guarantees for Ukraine, which guarantees would be provided by the various European countries with a coordination with the United States of America. Everyone's very happy about the possibility of peace. At the conclusion of the meetings, I called Putin, began arrangements for a meeting at a location TBD between Putin and Zelensky. After that meeting takes place, we will have a trilateral meeting, a three-way, if you will. That sounds weird, but a three-party meeting, which would be the two presidents plus myself, he says. And again, this was a very good early step for a war that has been going on for almost 4 years. VP Vance, Rubio, Witkoff, coordinating with Russia and Ukraine. Thank you for your attention to this matter. All right. So we're talking about these security guarantees. What does this mean? Security guarantees, is that possibly putting our troops on the ground? This has led to some additional questions, of course. And Trump called in to Fox and Friends this morning, talking about his discussions with Putin. Now, meanwhile, the liberal media is telling you, on CNN last night, President Trump can't even do anything without asking Putin's permission. He's Putin's lapdog. These people have clearly never been in a negotiation, and they sure as heck have never been in a mediation where they're trying to be the go-between between the two parties. This is a very, very, very difficult place to be, and you attorneys out there know this. And it is a difficult place to be in. So you have to go back and make sure. If you get too far down one vein of this discussion, of this negotiation, and it's too far for the other party, well, you've just wasted your time. You've gone way past the mark, and you have to sort of, settle these things up as you go along. You can't get too far out of whack on one side, or else you can't move forward. You have to cheat both sides up together as you are heading down the road of this negotiation. Of course, the liberal media wants to criticize Trump for that, but anybody with any IQ knows that's what you got to do in a mediation. And here he was talking to Fox and Friends.
We had a very good call, and I told him that we're going to set up a meeting with President Zelensky, and you and he will meet, and then after that meeting, if everything works out, okay, I'll meet and we'll wrap it up. But it takes in this case two to tango. They have to have somewhat of a relationship. Otherwise, we're just wasting a lot of time. I don't want to be doing that I just want to end it. I want to end it. We're not losing American lives. We're not losing American soldiers. We're losing Russian and Ukrainian, mostly soldiers. Some people, as missiles hit wrong spots or get lobbed into cities like Kiev and towns. But, if I can save 7,000 people a week from being killed, I think that's I want to try and get to heaven if possible. I'm hearing I'm not doing well. I hear I'm really at the bottom of the totem pole. But if I can get to heaven, this will be one of the reasons. We had a very good.
Okay, so then he goes into heaven. Yeah. We're not talking about American people, but these are lives lost. If I can save lives, again, President Trump is the only one that ever talks about the true cost of these conflicts, which are human lives. And then the whole, I want to try to get to heaven if possible. Let me just tell you, President Trump, there's nothing you can do to earn your way into heaven. Just submit, surrender, confess your sin, and Jesus Christ will forgive you because of what he has done. God will forgive you because of what Christ has done. There is nothing you can ever do, whether it's save lives or not, or do enough good things. There's literally no way to earn your way into heaven. You simply must surrender and trust and believe that Jesus Christ has paid for your sins. And the standard is holiness. None of us can ever achieve it, no matter how many lives we save. Now, I applaud President Trump for his efforts to save lives. I just want to make sure that you can save all the lives that you want and end up burning in hell, because none of us are good apart from being declared righteous through the finished work of Jesus Christ. So I just want to make sure that's known. And if you're out there saying, if I'm just get enough good things to happen on my account and on my ledger, eventually I will be accepted by God, it won't happen. But that's the good news. The good news is you don't have to earn it. You can't earn it. It's already been done. You simply must surrender and acknowledge and repent that Jesus would be the Lord of your life. Okay. So we've got our gospel moment in. Okay. Forgive me if that is not your thing, but I just have to make sure I set the record straight. And I'm sure some of these people in the Christian faith will make sure that President Trump knows that, hey, look, man, it's not nearly that complicated. But the fact remains, the intent is absolutely noble. It is. You are blessed to be a peacemaker, and the fact that President Trump is doing this because it is the right thing to do. It's also kind of funny. He says he's the lowest one on the totem pole. Anyway, so again, as we look at this, that is precisely why this is so important. And you can tell that President Trump does it for the right reasons because of the cost of human life. And also on Fox and Friends, talking about the boots on the ground. What does that mean? Is that American troops as far as security assurances? What does it mean?
What kind of assurances do you feel like you have that going forward and, past this Trump administration, it won't be American boots on the ground defending that border?
Well, you have my assurance, I'm president, and I'm just trying to stop people from being killed, Charlie. Look, they're losing from 5,000 to 7,000 people.
All right, so he says, you've got my assurances. I'm the president, and you have my assurance that we will not see U.S. troops on the ground. Now, an incredible letter sent from Melania Trump to President Putin, where she pleads with him for the lives of children. Melania Trump has a track record of being an incredible advocate for children. She loves children. President Trump said she loves children. She loves our son, Barron. She, I think, loves him more than me, if you really want to be honest, making a joke out of it. But every child, Melania says, shares the same quiet dreams in their heart, whether born randomly into a nation's rustic countryside or a magnificent city center. They dream of love, possibility, and safety from danger. As parents, it's our duty to nurture the next generation's hope. As leaders, the responsibility to sustain our children extends beyond the conflict of a few. Undeniably, we must strive to paint a dignity-filled world for all, so that every soul may wake to peace, and so that the future itself is perfectly guarded. She goes on to say, a simple yet profound concept, Mr. Putin, as I'm sure you agree, is that each generation's descendants begin their lives with a purity, an innocence which stands above geography, government, and ideology. Yet in today's world, some children are forced to carry a quiet laughter, untouched by the darkness around them, a silent defiance against the forces that can potentially claim their future. Mr. Putin, you can single-handedly restore their melodic laughter. In protecting the innocence of these children, you will do more than serve Russia alone. You serve humanity itself. Such a bold idea transcends all human division, and you, Mr. Putin, are fit to implement this vision with a stroke of the pen today. It is time. Sincerely, Melania. A beautiful letter talking about the innocence of children, pleading with President Putin to then come to the table on these peace negotiations for the sake of our children. No matter where a child is born, we can't decide, we can't control where we're born any more than anything else. And so children are born in this place of purity, of innocence, of childlike wonder, and through no fault of their own where they live or where they don't. And so Melania just pleading with President Putin about the implications of this and protecting the innocence of these children, she said, will do more than serve Russia. You serve humanity itself. Such a bold idea transcends all human division, and you have the power to do it, basically, is what she said. So, the mainstream liberal media would be gushing if Jill Biden wrote this. They would be beside themselves if Michelle Obama wrote it. If Hillary wrote it, they would have nominated her for the Nobel Peace Prize. But Melania does it, and you hardly hear anything about it. But what a beautiful, beautiful letter that Melania Trump has written. Meanwhile, saboteurs abound, potentially. Senator Lindsey Graham, Richard Blumenthal from Connecticut, floating the possibility of introducing a bill in the Senate that, if passed, could designate Russia and Belarus as state sponsors of terrorism over the kidnapping of Ukrainian children. A source with the bill tells NBC News. Now, make no mistake, if you are kidnapping children, harming children, you are violating many rules of engagement and treaties. So Russia is not innocent in this. And sometimes I think on the right, we are so tired of paying money to Ukraine. And obviously, I think as much as you might hate the conflict or blame anybody or everybody, I think it's quite clear at this point, including from President Trump himself, this is a much more complicated conflict than originally thought. Much more complicated, entrenched personalities than originally thought. Allegedly, it's not hard to believe, Putin and Zelensky absolutely hate each other's guts. Somehow they're going to meet together. It could all blow up at that point, but it is much more complicated than even President Trump had predicted. And so a lot of us on the right are like, screw this Zelensky. He's ungrateful. He's always asking for more. But at the same time, Russia has been evil as well. The things they've done. Putin is, he is a cold-blooded assassin. This dude has done unspeakable things. He actually can't travel to certain parts of the world because he's wanted for war crimes. So he's not innocent. Now, you haven't seen it put out there a lot. I know that Tucker Carlson and some others have talked about, but I was really, really proud to see Carl Higbie on Newsmax yesterday spelling out that while Putin is not someone to defend, the position of Putin and Russia as it relates to this fighting has a reason behind it due to the encroachment over the years from NATO all around Russia. And Carl Higbie spelled it out. I retweeted it. Look at my page if you want to see it on X. I'm really glad because a lot of times it's Russia's, the sole aggressor in this, and they're the only ones who, they're the only ones doing anything wrong. Well, assurances have been given to Russia for some time after the fall of the Soviet Union, and the encroachment has been happening by NATO for decades now. And at every time Putin has done something, it's been as a result from NATO encroaching more. So again, that doesn't excuse Putin, but there is a reason behind it. And so you got to stop doing that if you want Russia to behave. So it is a very complicated matter. And obviously, Russia, again, is not innocent. But I would just say to Senator Lindsey Graham and Richard Blumenthal, I don't think now is the time to try to create leverage on Putin. Just stay out of it is what I would tell Lindsey. But anyway, the trilateral Trump-Putin-Zelensky meeting will happen within 2 weeks. That is what we're hearing is the possibility. Again, we're keeping our eye on this a White House press briefing that is happening right now. I haven't seen anything earth-shattering. If you guys do, drop it in the chat. Please interact with what we're talking about in the chat. We would love to get your opinions on the show, as well as we need your help in the algorithm. Heart the post, repost on X, and share, repost, thumbs up on Rumble and all the other platforms as well. If you want to support us financially to cover our costs, you can do so via Cash App or Venmo at IkeReport.com. We've got one contribution on the board from Cap Hill with $20. Thank you very much. All right, this trilateral meeting. Let's see what the panel was saying about this yesterday.
Chancellor has just told reporters that the president spoke with Vladimir Putin, agreed that the Putin-Zelensky meeting is going to happen within 2 weeks. So that's from Chancellor Merz. Listen, we've got more with the panel. Final thoughts about today's White House. The German Chancellor has just told reporters that the president spoke with Vladimir Putin, agreed that the Putin-Zelensky meeting is going to happen within 2 weeks. So that's from Chancellor Merz. Listen, we've got more with the panel. Final thoughts about today's White House.
All right. So within 2 weeks. All right. Nobody on X has hearted and reposted my tweet about this on X, this show. So please go and do that. Need your help on that. All right. So within 2 weeks. So hopefully that means they're planning a one-on-one meeting potentially before a trilat can happen. And so again, these things, it's been in the works for a long time. There's been a lot of leverage that has been put on. As I went on Newsmax over the weekend and said that, make no mistake, I mean, we wouldn't be here if Trump hadn't put pressure on Russia in various different ways, whether it's, the secondary tariffs because of the energy from Russia and India or whatever. But a lot of this is part of the negotiation, but it has taken a while, but now it's moving potentially quickly. So they could have this trilateral meeting in 2 weeks. Now, one thing I didn't know that Scott Bessent spelled out this morning on CNBC was regarding Russian oil, because a lot of people aren't, they're not buying it. They're not buying it. And so Russia's been put in a hard spot now, with India and China buying it. President Trump has said, well, we're putting a secondary tariff on this because we want to put pressure on Russia's economy. And so Scott Bessent, I knew all that, but Scott Bessent spelling out something that I didn't know this before this morning is that Russia selling oil to India, but it was less than 1% of their oil. Less than 1% of India's oil prior to the war came from Russia. Now they're getting 42% of their oil from Russia. And basically, India is marking up the price and reselling it. They've made $16 billion in excess profits. So India's been profiting off of this war. Obviously, the Trump administration is wise to it. Scott Bessent is wise to it and talked about it this morning on CNBC.
Let's go back and look at the history, though, Becky. And look, China importing it is suboptimal. But if you go back and look, pre-22, pre-invasion, 13% of China's oil was already coming from Russia. Now it's 16. So China has a diversified input of their oil. If you go back and look now, I believe India had less than 1% of their oil, 1%, and now I believe it's up to 42. So wow. India is just profiteering, or they are just profiteering. They are reselling. They've made $16 billion in excess profits, some of the richest families in India. So this is a completely different thing. Like this Indian, what I would call the Indian arbitrage, buying cheap Russian oil, reselling it as product, has just sprung up during the war, which is unacceptable. Let's go back.
Okay, so they're keyed in on that, which is why the president has engaged with these secondary tariffs on India for this exact thing, because they are getting around with a leverage point that's trying to be created against Russia. Okay. So a couple of things on this press briefing that Caroline Levitt is doing inside the White House press briefing room, basically talking about President Trump cracking down on crime, the media rooting for Trump to fail constantly. Caroline Levitt going off on that. What else do we have here? 465 arrests have been made since President Trump's operation in D.C., which means they are trying to, that they're making major progress. Obviously, we got a lot of sabotage going on. It really is crazy how much the liberal media, it's like they want the economy to do terrible. They want wars to continue. because they don't want Trump to get any wins. They want crime to continue. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's insane. And that really is like the true definition of TDS. I mean, they really are deranged out of this. So thank you to Lucinda and Lori for reposting this feed on X. Appreciate you. All right, let's turn now to this really terrible story where you have an illegal immigrant truck driver, I believe from India, granted a CDL license from the state of California, makes an illegal U-turn in this semi truck and basically turns right in the path of a van who goes under the trailer, I believe killing 3 people. But I just want you to watch this guy's reaction when he makes this U-turn, and it is as if nothing happened. No reaction whatsoever. So his trailer's just been hit. He has no reaction whatsoever. Doesn't seem to care. And there he is just standing around. All right, so we've heard this before. This really is a problem all over our country, where illegal immigrants and non-English speaking people are driving these semi trucks. I mean, even when you have people that are, citizens and speak good English, that in and of itself doesn't guarantee they're good drivers. A lot of drivers are, maybe on less sleep than they should and things like that. Right. It's tough. It's a tough deal. But then you add on top of the tough job, the fact that people can't even read the signs and all the things like that. 3 innocent people, and then there's the guys here illegally. Tricia McLaughlin says that 3 innocent people were killed in Florida because Gavin Newsom's California DMV issued an illegal alien a commercial driver's license. She says the state of governance there is asinine. How many more innocent people have to die, until Gavin Newsom stops playing games with the safety of the American public? She says we pray for the victims and their families. 3 people killed. And as if this guy couldn't be bothered when it happened. Now, Governor Ron DeSantis says an illegal alien was issued this CDL by California. This guy does not speak English. He says sanctuary policies are deadly and that we must hold illegal aliens accountable. And also, though, the other actors involved, including the company, for hiring illegal alien truck drivers. And of course, they tried to blame it on Florida. Well, Florida didn't have anything to do with it. This was all the issuance of the state of California. So really a terrible, terrible thing. Of course, Governor Gavin Newsom's press office puts out this statement. Hey, genius, the federal government, aka the Trump administration, already confirmed this guy meets federal and state immigration requirements. You, in all caps, issued him a work permit. As usual, the Trump administration is either lying or clueless based on when this guy entered in 2018. And so you go, well, that was the Trump years. Okay, corrected by Tricia McLaughlin, who is the assistant secretary of the DHS under Kristi Noem. She says, false to Governor Gavin Newsom. False. Harjinder Singh which is the guy's name. Harjinder Singh is in the U.S. illegally, and his work authorization was rejected under the Trump administration on September 14th, 2020. It was later approved under the Biden administration on June 9th of 2021. The state of California issues commercial driver's licenses. There is no national CDL. Sincerely, genius. Right? So Governor Gavin Newsom trying to blame the Trump administration. Whoa. Wait a minute. No, this guy's work authorization was rejected under the Trump admin. admin and then approved under the Biden admin. But you don't get a CDL from the federal government. You get it from the state. Ding-a-ling. And so that one backfired bigly. Speaking of backfiring bigly, you remember how Eagle Ed Martin was rejected, not confirmed, specifically from people like Tom Tillis and others for the Washington, D.C. Attorney General. Well, because of that, obviously, Jeanine Pirro has been slid into that spot, but an unintended consequence maybe for those, or intended, who knows, Eagle Ed Martin is now a special counsel. He's been named a special counsel, and they're sicking this dude after all kinds of things. And he went on Maria Bartiromo's show over the weekend indicating he's investigating those that were involved in the January 6th committee. Look at his comments.
What about the January 6th committee? Did they destroy evidence? Is there criminality there?
Of course. We're all in that too. And trust me, a lot of people did not get a pardon that were involved in the select committee, and they ought to be keeping an eye on their mailbox, because there's a lot to be asked about.
And the pardons that were given out were done by an auto pen. Are they legitimate?
Well, yeah, I'm the pardon attorney, so I'm in that too. I can tell you we're investigating how the pardons were granted. It was not like anything in the history of America what not Joe Biden, his staffers did, not just with the auto pen, but with faking him out on the memos. More to come, Maria. I'm telling you, Pam Bondi has let us loose, and when this comes out, it'll take the whole of these people's hoaxes down, and we're doing it bit by bit, and it's fantastic. It's a great privilege.
Unbelievable. Real quick.
All right, so you got him looking at the January 6th select subcommittee. You've got him looking into the auto pen pardons, Ed Martin. They're looking into all of this, and this guy doesn't play. And so this actually very well could have worked out much better than maybe if he was the U.S. attorney, because he's got these special counsel statuses and he is just turning over every rock. Meanwhile, U.S. Attorney Judge Jeanine Pirro announced a woman was traveling from New York to Washington, D.C. to assassinate President Trump. So she's been all over the crimes. She's not willing to talk about investigations typically until she has a case ready. But she is disclosing this, yet another crazy person that wanted to assassinate Trump. Again, this is a byproduct of the liberal media's obsession with diminishing and demonizing him at every turn.
Hi, everyone. It's Judge Jeanine. I just wanted to let you know here from the United States Attorney's Office in D.C. that an individual by the name of Nathalie Rose Jones is now in custody, charged with 2 federal crimes for knowingly and willfully threatening to take the life of the President of the United States. She did come from New York to Washington, D.C., and she has been threatening and calling for the removal of the president, and even worse, as she got to D.C., her threats were on Facebook and Instagram, and she continued to call the president a terrorist and was working to have him eliminated. She is now in custody. She will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Make no mistake about that. Hi, everyone. It's Judge Jeanine. I just wanted to let you know here from the United States Attorney's Office in D.C.
All right. Sorry about that. So you've got yet again another deranged individual that was trying to take out Trump. They got her this time as a her, allegedly. And so that's good news. All right. So I'm going to see if I can isolate this clip real quick. I haven't seen it. I've only read a little bit of the readout on it from this press briefing that just happened moments ago. But there was kind of an interesting thing that happened after the summit, the Trump-Putin summit. You had a lot of the media saying it was a failure. You even had Fox News trying to say that it just didn't go well. Jackie Heinrich was one of those people. And then later on, Brian Kilmeade came on the air and said that he had a conversation with insiders, and it was more like, that Trump would classify it, or maybe his team, as more of a 10 out of 10. And so it led to a lot of people going, what what's the deal here? Now, Jackie Heinrich has in the past, I mean, in the 2020 election, was going against a lot of what was going on, what was obvious at that point. And I just remember through the subpoenaed text messages, Tucker Carlson was pissed at her. Like, what is she doing? But anyway, so I don't know that she likes Trump. I just, you don't have to like Trump, okay, if you're a reporter, but you do have to be fair, and to classify that meeting right after it as not having gone well, is just ridiculous. Again, it's like, are you wanting to be overly critical to try to get ratings, or do you want to report the truth? Anyway, this was from just a few minutes ago. Watch.
Biden often says that this war would not have started if he were in office, and
True.
and Putin confirmed that.
It's true. Do you accept that as truth? The
Probably.
European leaders do.
Well,
And President Putin himself said that, by
he
the way.
did say that. The question I have, though, is what is the president going to do to ensure that these security guarantees last beyond him into the time when he is no longer president? And does that have to involve Congress at all?
Well, he understands the need for that, which he spoke to yesterday. And what's he going to do? It's why he's engaging in so many talks and so many conversations with both sides of this war with our European allies. It's why on the way home from Anchorage, Alaska, very late at night, when I know many of you on the press plane were sleeping and many staff were sleeping, the president himself was still awake at 2:00 in the morning talking to European leaders and NATO about how we can ensure a lasting peace and bring this conflict to an end. He has expended an incredible amount of time, energy, and effort into bringing this war to an end, and he remains determined to do that.
Yeah, so while a lot of you folks were sawing logs in the back, President Trump was working. And it's kind of interesting, the first part of that clip, she, says President Putin himself and the European leaders accept that as a reality, that this invasion would have never happened had President Trump been in office. Heinrich neglects to answer that. But President Putin himself, the guy who invaded, said, I wouldn't have done it if this guy was president, because we would have had a conversation to be like, what are they doing over here? And would have realized that this guy, didn't have to invade. The very guy who invaded. I would say that's a pretty good indicator of who would know. Now people go, oh yeah, Putin's just lying. Putin didn't have to say that, but he did. He did in the speech on Friday night. Now, would love to see your comments. You're being awfully quiet there in the chat. I mean this with all respect and affection. You guys got to do better. Let's get some more chat going on in the live chat, whatever platform you're watching on. I need you to heart the post and repost, and get involved in what's going on. Want to see your comments on what we're talking about. I want to see your perspective, and I want to be able to read it. And so we've got a handful of comments from about 20 minutes ago. So keep them coming, please. Now, this is where it got crazy. Over the weekend, I literally thought this was an AI video. Did you see this? It was literally the former director of the FBI, James Comey, going off about how much he loves Taylor Swift. And I mean, it's a 5.5-minute video. I don't want to watch the whole thing, but take a look.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to my Substack. Last week's cold turns out to have been COVID. Quite a flashback. And Donald Trump is still president and still humiliating America on a national stage, standing next to Vladimir Putin. It's like a dream, a bad dream you can't wake up from. But I don't want to talk about that bad dream this week. I want to talk.
Yeah, see, a guy who, is so professional, right? A guy who's supposed to be believed as this guy who just wants what's best for the republic. And it's just like a political statement right out the gate that President Trump is meeting with Putin.
About a truly inspirational public figure named Taylor Swift.
You heard correctly. A truly inspirational public figure named Taylor Swift, who basically sings songs about, not being able to stay with dudes and, constantly running through men. And, basically she's done nothing but, advocate for, things that diminish family values, all while trying to pretend she appeals to young people at the same. I mean, she's literally, I would say someone who is not a role model, somebody who diminishes family values, diminishes, any kind of America First mentality, and is not someone I would want my daughters to act like, not one bit. But yet, James Comey, a grown freaking dude who's old enough to be Taylor Swift's grandpa, is talking about her being inspirational. I mean, literally, you can't make this stuff up. I literally thought this was AI because I'm like, there's no way. One, any dude of any success would ever go and say this, especially of this age. But two, the fact that James Comey is out here, a guy who is supposed to be some kind of beacon of truth, reliability, trustworthiness, to do the right thing from an enforcement standpoint, and he's drawing his inspiration from some singer who sings about, running through boyfriends every few months. I mean, are you freaking serious? I mean, on one hand, it's just absolutely unbelievable. On the other hand, it's so believable and it explains so much.
Of course, I watched her podcast interview with the Kelsey brothers. Of course, I watched the whole thing, although on YouTube, Patrice and I got kicked off for the last 15 minutes and finished it on her phone. But I watched it. You see, Taylor Swift and I go way back. I went to my first concert of hers 15 years ago. I've been to a second, and I have helped financially support the attendance of a lot of family members at others. I'm in a family's Swiftie group chat. I know all her music, and I listen to it in my headphones when
I'm in a family Swiftie group chat. Now, have we heard whether or not Kash Patel and Dan Bongino have been dispatched to go get this guy's man card? Because I think it's long overdue. He needs to turn it in post haste.
At the grass. So yes, I have a favorite of hers, although honestly, for me, it's a tie between All Too Well, 10-minute version, and Exile featuring Bon Iver. Taylor Swift has grown up with my family and provided us a soundtrack, really, as we've grown ourselves and learned and adapted and dealt with adversity and celebration. She had songs for all of it. I suspect that's something that millions of Americans have also experienced in their families. I think that's because Taylor Swift produces great art, but also because she models something. At every stage of her career, she's shown a certain way of being that resonated with my kids and also felt right to me as a parent. And she's still doing that as a grown-up. Like a lot of you, I struggle with how to stand up to bullies without letting their meanness infect me and change me.
What has happened here? I mean, you literally are modeling your family around some freaking stupid singer who doesn't give a crap about you. She's literally just making a ton of money, and you're basically like, we are structuring our family unit around Taylor Swift's music. It's so inspiring and how she helps us deal with people being mean. Well, no freaking wonder, dude. In the middle of all of the fake hoaxes and everything like that, instead of standing up with a set and actually being a man, in the back of your mind, you were saying, what would Taylor do right now? It's no wonder if this is the cornerstone of your beliefs and your guidance is freaking Taylor Swift's music on how to, deal with meanies.
You may have seen that the governor of California has been generating a lot of attention lately by posting on social media in a satirical way where he mocks Donald Trump and his all caps megalomania and his absurdity. And I find it very funny.
Once again, it's about Trump. It's always about Trump for this dude.
Hilarious, even sometimes. But I got to be honest, it also leaves me with a strange feeling at times.
Really? You're starting to grow hair in weird places too?
Because I don't want us to become like Trump and his followers.
Really? You don't want to love America? You don't want to stop bending the knee to the woke, Marxist, anti-God ideology? You don't want to love America? You don't want to defend America? Do you want to keep innocent people safe? You don't find that in a Taylor Swift song? No, I guess you probably don't.
There are far more decent, honest, kind people in America than there are mean jerks. And don't get me wrong, we have our jerks, millions of them. You may have noticed. In particular, there's a stunning coarseness and ugliness in the Republican Party today. It's upsetting, but it's also a minority of America.
Majority of America voted for Donald Trump and this agenda. Popular vote, all the swing states, historic victory.
On the whole, we aren't like that, and we don't like that. I think that's a big part of the reason so few Americans support Donald Trump when they have to see him and that up close.
Wow. All right. So just statistically, you couldn't be more wrong, Jim Comey. But basically, he is who we thought he was, a nut job that makes it all about him. He's irrelevant, but he's out there posting a video about Taylor Swift trying to appeal to what? I mean, he's not appealing to anyone of professional status. I mean, even somebody who hates Trump would have to watch that. You know, let's say somebody who works in D.C., somebody who's part of, the Beltway Circle, would not watch that and go, oh, man, Jim, hey, Jim, way to inspire. You know what I mean? I mean, that Taylor Swift thing you did. No, everybody's watching it. Even the people that would have similar views than him about Trump or the country or how the government's the answer to a lot of stuff would watch that and go, yeah, Jim's lost it. Yep. I think he's had one too many Cosmos and listening sessions of Taylor Swift. The dude's become brainwashed. But who does that appeal to? Swifties? Taylor Swift? I mean, is he trying to build up this new fan base of teenage girls and effeminate men? Like, what is happening here? This is so crazy. Like, but it is confirmation. He is who we thought he was, and he is an attention whore. That's what he wants. It's always about Comey. And he tries to present it as, oh, I'm the level-headed adult in the room, and I don't want to have to make these tough decisions and do these things, but I must do it because I care so much about the Republic. I care so much about the Constitution. I mean, have you seen any, I watched this series that was, based on him with Jeff Daniels playing him. And it was like, or maybe it was a movie. Anyway, this guy loves attention, but in the movie, it's just like, he's just going through so much personal anguish and turmoil. It just, it's so hard to do what's right, but I must no matter what. And he's just the martyr in it. He is not a martyr. James Comey is not a martyr. He is a glutton for attention. He always has to make it about him, whether it's posting seashells, whether it's coming out with that Clinton investigation, which is super weird, by the way, that he would have called off and said, we're not going to charge her with anything, when isn't that the Attorney General's purview? But anyway, it's always about James Comey. He loves attention, and it's all about him. And then this is just like further evidence in the stack of evidence to that point. You have another example of it. David Singh in the chat says that James Comey is a total fake POS. He's absolutely fake. All right, so David Sling is in the chat. Who else is in the chat? Let us know. Comment on what you see happening on the show. We would love to get your comments. I mean, I thought that's why you guys were here, but maybe you're asleep right now. I don't know, but would love to see what you have to say about what is going on in the chat, live chat on Rumble or live chat on X. Or whatever platform you happen to be watching on, if you have a comment about what's going on. Now, look at this. Former Attorney General Bill Barr has testified under oath now that President Trump is not connected to the Epstein files. And if he were, Biden would have already leaked it. Quote, he said that he had never seen anything that would implicate President Trump in any of this. He believed if there'd been anything pertaining to Trump with respect to the Epstein list, he felt like the Biden administration would have probably leaked it out. So he testified to that matter. Also, Bill Barr and his dad sort of connected to Epstein in some of those previous cases and the law firms that they worked at. And so you would think, what's interesting is you have a lot of people now coming to Trump's defense in weird ways because I think they're worried about things. Like Hillary Clinton was on an interview the other day and said, if Trump is able to broker peace between Ukraine and Russia, I will nominate him for the Nobel Peace Prize. Hillary Clinton said that. Now, that she's just worried about all the attention that's on her. I've never heard her say anything like that about President Trump, but she's basically saying it's such a crazy conflict and I doubt he'll be able to do it. But if he is, I'll nominate him for the Nobel Peace Prize. Didn't have that on the bingo card. But again, you know that they're feeling real pressure and they are scared if they're saying things like that. I'm just saying. Now, of course, people continue to point to the crackdown in D.C. I think we said 400 and something arrests so far. A lot of people are feeling like, hey, I can finally go outside in D.C. in the evenings. And but then you have people saying, bruh, they're cracking down so hard on everybody in D.C. Even Brett Baer, the Fox News anchor, is being pulled over. There he is. There in the G-Wagon. And there he goes. Brett Baer being pulled over. They're cracking down on everybody. Brett Baer says, actually, what happened is I picked up my ringing phone as I drove past an officer while driving my wife's car in Georgetown. Okay, that looks like your wife's car. I was just going to say, He pointed to have me pull over, and I did. He was very professional. I had to dig for the registration card, got a ticket, and left. I didn't know there was paparazzi. So he picked up his ringing phone as he drove past an officer while he was driving his wife's car. So maybe he didn't have it, sort of Bluetoothed in, and so he picked up the phone rather than hands-free. But no, it's not because the Gestapo is pulling everyone over. He was on his phone. So anyway, even Brett Baer gets tickets, right? All right. Those of you that love Pete Hegseth are going to love this segment. And Bobby Kennedy talking about physical fitness yesterday. President Trump has set the example by putting forth efforts to make America healthy again. So we introduced the Pete and Bobby Challenge, is what Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth says. 100 push-ups, 50 pull-ups in 10 minutes. And we got video. Take a look.
All right, here we are in the bowels of the Pentagon for the Pete and Bobby Challenge. I think this was your idea, so I blame you. But it's all about Make America Healthy Again. We're going to be fit, not fat. We want recruits that are ready to go and challenge. What are we doing today, Bobby?
Well, Pete and I are going to do our part, encourage American youth to do this challenge. And the challenge is to do 100 push-ups and 50 pull-ups in any order you want in under 10 minutes.
So 5 minutes is the top standard that we want to meet.
I'm not going to be able to do.
Secretary of Defense shark attack. You can do better, Ranger Tom! Let's go! Make your country proud! Lieutenant Commander Gonzalez, you did the challenge in what time? 3:56. 3:56.
Impressive.
3 minutes and 24 seconds. Gunnery Sergeant Prince. Gunnery Sergeant High. 243.
Wow.
243.
We want to send out a challenge to Sean Duffy.
I'm going to throw it on the military side a little bit, too. Let's challenge the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Raising Cane. And then my friend on TV, Will Kane. How about the Pete and Bobby Challenge? 100 push-ups, 50 pull-ups. But we hope Americans will take this challenge and you'll pass it along so that we're ready to be fit the way we need to be healthy, and to have a healthy fighting force. Go get it.
Let's make America healthy.
Amen.
And they're dying.
Yeah.
All right, the Pete and Bobby Challenge. Think you could do it? Mostly Penny says, I would imagine that all of Congress is exempt from this. I don't know if that's what you were talking about. I could do this. 10 minutes, no problem. No problem. I could do it. I know I can do 100 push-ups in like 3 minutes. Okay? So that would give me 7 minutes for rest and 50 pull-ups. Surely I could do that. Surely. I'm going to try it. I got to find a pull-up bar somewhere. I used to have one. They used to make those ones that would just go on the the molding of the door, the trim of the door, and it would just. I kind of wrecked one of our doors in one of our houses using that for a long time. But anyway, that thing is awesome. Wish I still had it. What do they call that thing? Like the Iron Gym or something? No. Anyway. So there you go. Bobby and Pete doing the deal. That doesn't. I just don't think it's. That doesn't sound too crazy to me. I think it's doable. 10 minutes. But the guy that did it in 2:30, whatever, like that's incredible. You're not resting there, right? Mostly Penny was talking about the laws in DC. Yeah, that or the laws in DC. Yeah, the Congress is exempt from the Bobby and Pete challenge, as well as the laws in DC of talking on their phone. They obviously are immune. They have immunity for anything they say on the floor of the House. If you didn't know that, legally, they don't have to tell the truth. It's ridiculous. All right. So bad news for people that love MSNBC. It's now being changed to MS Now. Rachel Maddow's network is MS Now. My Source News Opinion World. That's what it stands for. So with this sale of Paramount or whatever, and they're dropping, NBC from a lot of stuff. And obviously they've been hemorrhaging for some time. And Morning Joe was acting like, hey, this is a great thing. This is great. Yeah. Well, this is called spin, my friends.
We have breaking news as it pertains to our network. This morning, a new name for the network. By the end of the year, we will become MS Now, which stands for My Source for News, Opinion, and the World. And look, Andrew, they even have a graphic up. I like
there it is.
Actually,
the new logo.
It looks very sporty. As we go to Versant, we're going to be moving in this direction. MS Now, which I got to say, I got a call yesterday afternoon, and they're saying, "We hope you're okay." Where you going? I was like, "What do you mean? Like this shows we're independent." And what I've said on this show time and time again is, you look at the people that are running the company; they're entrepreneurial.
Right.
Like when you have somebody come into your company after working for like big corporations, and you're talking, you're saying, and they go, "We want you to be entrepreneurial. We want you to come up with new ideas. We want you to push the boundaries." I'm excited about that, so I'm excited about this too. It's like, what's in a name? Well, whatever you put into the name.
Well, look, my understanding is this decision was a choice by NBC Universal.
Right.
Remember, originally they were going to leave the Peacock with the different units.
Right.
They decided that they wanted that to stay with NBC Universal. Having said that, despite my sentimentality about the Peacock, I've always loved the Peacock.
Yeah.
The truth is, I've always thought about this network and CNBC and USA and actually all of those assets as insurgent networks.
Right.
This is an insurgent network. And I love the idea, to be honest with you. You can take out your salt shaker or whatever you want to do and say,
okay, yeah. You're in the spin zone. Mostly spin, no one watches. David Sling has a different word. Mostly scat. How about that? Mostly scat that no one watches. Mostly scat. MS Now is what it is. MS Now, and no longer MSNBC. You know what I mean? This is, you remember what happened to Air America? It's like, oh, well, Rush Limbaugh is doing so well as conservative radio, Republican radio. We're gonna launch the counter to that with Air America. It's liberal, progressive, and it was garbage and crap, and nobody watches it because it's full of shrieking idiots without substantive arguments, and that's exactly what has happened to MSNBC and these other liberal outlets that are struggling bigly because of their Trump derangement syndrome. Again, you also look at, it's weird how USAID goes away, and then you have all these shows going away and different things. Kind of interesting, you know what I mean? All right, so the thing they said never happens, right? We're talking about, voter fraud with mail-in votes. Look at what is going on in Hamtramck, Michigan. This is also this is one of those cities with a Muslim mayor and several Muslim town council people as well, in case you aren't aware. This is the city I referenced when I was debating Ellis Hennigan on Newsmax a couple weeks ago, and he called me an Islamophobe and racist because I said, because Mamdani, if he gets elected in New York, get ready for backyard sacrifices of goats and things like that, because that's exactly what they legalized in Hamtramck, Michigan.
New video obtained by Local 4 shows a black pickup truck pulling up outside Hamtramck City Hall in the middle of the night, just days before the primary election. All of a sudden, the lights turn on inside the truck. That's when you spot 3 men inside, including what appears to be Council Member Abu Musa in the back seat, the same council member who is seeking re-election right now. The video then shows the driver getting out and stuffing absentee ballots into the drop box. The only problem? They don't all fit. He then starts pushing them in before reaching for 2 more stacks. The whole time looking around to see if anyone is watching. After about 2 minutes, the group drives away. And get this, Local 4 found that it happened again, only 4 days later. This time, a different car pulling up with what appears to be the same council member in the passenger seat. He then starts handing bundles of ballots to the driver, dropping off 3 large stacks. City election results show Musa received 1,129 votes during the primary, making him the top contender for city council in November. Michigan State Police confirmed the videos are part of an ongoing investigation. It all comes just days after 2 Hamtramck City Council members were charged with election fraud in connection to the 20.
I did not know. Wait a minute. I thought this never happened. I thought that we don't have voter fraud in elections, right? But there you have it on video in Hamtramck, Michigan. And of course, President Trump on Monday morning said that he would lead a movement to end mail-in voting in U.S. elections and sign an executive order to help bring honesty to next year's midterms. And so we have this pledge to end mail-in ballots and voting machines ahead of the 2026 midterms, announcing this intent to lead a movement to get rid of all mail-in ballots. And also, while we're at it, Trump said highly inaccurate, very expensive, and seriously controversial voting machines, which, by the way, Newsmax finalized their settlement yesterday with Dominion voting machines from the 2020 election. Now, they paid a substantially lower amount than Fox News paid. Fox News paid $750 million, almost $1 billion, and it was, I think, $67 million from Newsmax. Anyway, Newsmax maintains that they reported fairly, but that this court in Delaware, one of these activist judges, was basically diminishing their free speech, and therefore obviously found that it was better to pay the settlement and move on, which is crazy about our legal system, right? But anyway, Trump's talking about these voting machines. We need to get rid of them, and we need mail-in ballots to go away. And so we will see where that goes. We can hope, can't we? We can hope. All right, so you have Gavin Newsom. Obviously, Gavin Newsom is trying to position himself to run in 2028, don't you think? I think so. And, what kind of track record do you have? What have you done with the Palisades? Well, we're hearing that they are basically creating ways to build low-income housing, by the way, in the Palisades. Beautiful land, beautiful real estate. And anyway, he doesn't have a great track record. He's out there talking about fighting fire with fire when there's literal fires happening in his state. What an idiot. But, he's out there trying to go against Trump on these redistricting battles, Texas redistricting. Now he's like, well, we're going to do it. You've done it. You've done it, again and again and again. But anyway, he's out there acting like he's ready to run for president. Well, what kind of track record do you have? What kind of positive results can you point to? Well, how about this? California now leads the nation in both unemployment and homelessness. So congratulations, California. That is something to hang your hat on, but not at your own house because a lot of people don't have those there or jobs. Leading in homelessness and unemployment, leading the nation. Wow, it's good to be number one in something, I suppose. So that is Gavin Newsom's track record. Certainly something to build on, right? All right, now Republicans are calling for Eric Swalwell, this guy who farted on live TV. You remember that? I don't know, but it happened allegedly. Many other things. He had some involvement, entanglement with Bang Bang. Was that her name? Sing Sing Bang Bang? What was her name? Fang Fang. My bad. Anyway, she was a spy, and he was spying on her in a weird. Well, anyway, they were involved. Okay, obviously a dude who I don't even understand why he's allowed to still be around. He should have been censured. But anyway, he went on CNN and basically called for Republicans to be buried under the Capitol. If a Republican said this, oh my gosh, they would have been censured and they would be, locked up probably by this point. All right. It's not playing, so maybe we'll try to reassess here. You know what happens at least once a show.
When they go low, we're going to bury them below the Capitol. That's what we're going to do because this is about protecting democracy. And right now, as you see, D.C. has been militarized, and we were weak as Democrats, frankly.
Okay. So wait a minute. You're talking about killing them and burying them? That sounds quite violent, but, Swalwell, will Swalwell, encounter any repercussions from that? No. Because he's a Democrat. All right, so John Solomon has been all over this Clinton Foundation shenanigans and things like that, especially with the FBI and the whole Russia Gate crossfire hurricane situation. Now he's furthering this investigation, saying, something's coming.
Last week, we told you that the FBI had not one, not two, but three criminal investigations of the Clinton Foundation, but they were all ordered shut down by the Obama Justice Department. Remember the famous quote from Sally Yates, the Deputy Attorney General for Barack Obama, shut it down. Well, today we learned that there was another criminal investigation of the Clinton Foundation, not at the FBI, but at the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS. That too, well, it got shut down, ironically, in President Trump's first administration. We learned that from a lawsuit that's making its way, a whistleblower lawsuit, making its way through the U.S. tax court system. Now, we're going to have more documents on this coming up in the next couple of days, so keep an eye on justthenews.com. The protection racket around the Clintons, Hunter Biden, all the others in the Democratic Party, at the same time they were smearing President Trump with investigations and false Russia collusion allegations, becoming more and more clear just how much a dual system of justice we have. These documents are up on Just the News right now. We'll have new ones coming out in the next 48 hours. All right.
Wow. All right. So he says they'll be releasing more documents in the next 48 hours pertaining to another Clinton Foundation investigation that was shut down. And this time, this investigation was shut down into the Clinton Foundation during the Trump administration. Someone in the first Trump administration shut down the investigation, another investigation into the Clinton Foundation. Who was it? Who is the traitor, the saboteur? Who is it? The deep state is alive, my friends. They absolutely are. I don't think there's any denying it. And so that'll be interesting to see what comes of that disclosure from Just the News. Here's a pretty cool thing that's happening. This is improved tech capabilities at the border, which it's like, why haven't we had this before? But again, it takes the Trump administration and the will to secure our country to finally get it done. Take a look.
So this camera tower here is going to be one of 5 surveilling this area. And when we talked with the acting chief, he said they're only seeing single digits when it comes to gotaways or people trying to evade. But for the Trump administration, crossings are 0 and gotaways are 0. That is the goal. So right now, these cameras, what they're going to do is they're going to feed live into the station. And if someone crosses illegally, agents in the field will get instant alerts right to their devices. And these towers don't just track, they deter. The acting chief saying anyone thinking of sneaking across will see it and either turn back or get funneled straight into an agent's path waiting for them. This comes following reports from Congress that the majority of the current surveillance towers down here at the southern border were not operational. These will replace some of those cameras and give them eyes across the southern border again. Take a listen to Acting Chief Desi De Leon.
It's a multi-layered system, right? So we have personnel, technology, and technical infrastructure, right? So we layer all our assets according to where our gaps are and stuff like that, or where we want to focus the activity to go. So to your point, yes, it will direct our traffic to where it needs, where we want them to go, where the certainty of arrest is increased.
And just to our west, in neighboring Big Bend sector, they're rolling out what it calls mission-critical upgrades, boosting connectivity and sensors in some of the most rugged remote terrain along the southern border. Back here in Del Rio, when it comes to encounters, they've only seen about 474, under 500 for the entire month of July. The border czar, Tom Homan, saying none of those individuals were released into the country. Back to you.
All right, that is pretty incredible. They've got the technology out there, so it's just getting harder and harder and harder to sneak into our country. And we are on pace for the first negative net migration, as in more people have left the country than came in 50 plus years right now, because President Trump has the political will and the wherewithal and the toughness to get it done. Historic, without a doubt. Keep those comments coming in the chat. Mostly Penny says Swalwell was thinking with his wang wang when it came to Fang Fang. Also, Oregon won't let anyone look at their voter rolls because of the voter fraud. David Sling talking about the same thing as well. Appreciate the comments. Keep them coming there in the chat. Interesting, Mike Pence went on with Jake Tapper, and some say that that he is sort of undermining what Trump is trying to do here. Take a look at this clip and let me know what you think.
There are observers out there, people who like Trump, people who are rooting for Trump, who think that Trump got played.
Well, look, I served alongside the president for 4 years. I know his style in dealing with these dictators. It's the velvet glove, but I think the hammer needs to come, and it needs to come immediately. I think the president, as he welcomes President Zelensky to the Oval Office tomorrow, and a whole cast of our allies in Europe that are going to be joining him, I think at the same time he ought to pick up the phone and ask Majority Leader John Thune to immediately pass the secondary sanctions bill that is supported by virtually everyone in the United States Senate. I think the combination of engagement, but also making it clear to Putin that we are prepared to take actions that would literally break his economy, even while we redouble our commitment to the security of Ukraine and to working closely with our European allies is important. Look, I said it before, I'll say it again. In the long history of the last 25 years, Putin has made it clear. He launched an attack into Georgia when President Bush was in office. He attacked Crimea and Ukraine when Obama was in office. After that disastrous withdrawal in Afghanistan, he crossed the border and started this war 3 years ago. Putin's made it no secret of the fact that he wants to reassert the old Soviet sphere of influence.
All right, so we know, Mike Pence is kind of traditionally a war hawk, neocon kind of
the evil empire
personality. And so obviously that was on Sunday night. A lot's happened since then, and obviously quite successful meeting yesterday, and then planning for another meeting. Golly, man, I'm telling you, man. Sometimes, let me see if I can I got a couple more stories. I wasn't going to, I got through a lot of this a lot faster because there's been a lot less chat. And so I had extra things that I didn't have queued up that I didn't think I was going to have time to get to. And now I do. And so I am bringing them to you. So I don't know. I guess less chat means more content, but less chat means not as much fun conversation, I guess. I don't know. So anyway, it is what it is. But all right, so I'm able to queue these stories up. Okay, this is kind of weird. This is kind of funny. It has just been revealed the list of the most Democratic names in America. The most Democratic names in America have just happened. Okay, have just been revealed. Okay, so basically, when they take a name and say, all right, of people with this name, are they primarily Republican or are they primarily Democrat? Okay. David Sling is Walmart shopping. That explains it. But what's the rest of you guys' excuse? It's all good. Yeah, there's a lot of people in the chat that are normally very, very chatty that aren't. So I don't know. Maybe they're busy. But it never fails. You got all these people who are like, when are you going to be on live? We go live, and then they don't show up, and they're like, I missed it. It's like, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, I wish it was on the same time every day. That's just not an option right now. But set all of your notifications for Rumble. Set your notifications for X. When I go live on X, you'll get a notification. And set, and then be a member of our Ike Nation Locals community. It's free. And when I'm going to go live, I post it in there. You need to set the notifications on there, which is ikenation.locals.com. Anyway, back to this story. Okay, so I'm just trying to make sure that I'm explaining it correctly. So, all right. For example, I'll just say, like, okay, you take the name Ike. Okay, everybody who's named Ike. Okay, and I don't know how they do this survey accurately. And say, okay, of all the people that are named Ike, are they primarily Republican or Democrat? Okay, right? I would say most names would be like, I don't know. What's interesting, though, is that this survey's been done of the most Democrat names. Okay, so the names that are primarily everyone who's named that name is almost entirely a Democrat. Okay, number one on the list, Ebony. 96.1% of people named Ebony are Democrats. Shaniqua. 95.9% of people named Shaniqua are Democrats. Are you shocked? Imani. 95.9% of people named Imani are Democrats. Shamika. 95.7%. Anaya at 95.5%. Tamika at 95.5%. Shanika at 95.4%. Latoya at 95.2%. And Anaya, 95.1% of people named Anaya are Democrats. This is from 34 states reporting party affiliations. This is pretty wild. Yeah. Which again, to me says most of those people are black, right? Yeah. Like, okay, Captain Obvious. All right. Which makes me ask the question to people who are black, why is it an automatic assumption that you are going to vote Democrat? It is embedded in so much of the culture that, no, we always vote Democrat because we're black, and that's, Democrats do the most for us. Really? You've been voting for them the last 50 years. What have they done for you except for tell you can't do it on your own and basically try to convince you that the government is the only way you can succeed, and that you're a victim. They've basically they have engaged in bigotry, the bigotry of low expectations for the black community, and continue to tell them that they need government, they need the Democrats in power so they can have a chance. Bullcrap. There are plenty of people of all races who have been successful in this country. It's not a guarantee. The Constitution doesn't guarantee success. It guarantees the pursuit of happiness, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. And the only way to get there is to work hard in most cases, unless it's handed to you, which is not very many people at all. Oh, well, white people have a better chance in this country because, black people were slaves. Well, 1% of white people own slaves. So what about the other 99% of us that somehow figured out a way to make it happen? So again, I don't buy into this lie that black people aren't smart enough or intelligent or can't work hard enough because because they've been, kept down by the white man or the system. No, because there are plenty of successful black people that completely contradict that. And so it is a lie from the pit of hell that has been told primarily by Democrats to keep black people voting for them. But again, I ask you, where has it gotten you? And so we go back to this survey of this sort of cultural DNA of Democrat voting no matter what. And it has started to change, especially during Trump years, especially this last election. And I believe a lot of why Democrats have decided that, okay, the strategy isn't just black people anymore. We have to get illegal immigrants in here too, because they'll continue to vote for us because we'll give them stuff. It's modern day slavery, friends. And so it's proof there that, anybody born with one of those African-American names, 95, 96% of the time, they're going to be Democrats. I mean, that is crazy. Like, think of the name Steve. Well, 96% of the time, Steve is going to be a Republican. That would be crazy to me. It would be crazy to me. Like, okay, just because of the race that you were born guarantees the political party. Like, what about critical thinking? And again, asking the question, what has the Democrat Party done for you? All right, this story is making its rounds. It's body cam footage from Rhode Island Special Assistant Attorney General Devin Flanagan and her friend. They are being arrested for trespassing while she is basically saying, "Don't you know who I am?" All right, so they're basically wanting these ladies who appear inebriated to leave this wine bistro place, and they're not. I don't give a crap. No volume, somebody says. Are you guys not hearing that? Huh. Okay, so you guys can't hear that? Okay, well, anyway, you guys can hear me, I'm sure. Basically, they're standing there. They're telling the restaurant wants these girls to leave. And this is this attorney general, right? She's the attorney general for Rhode Island, special assistant attorney general. And so she's telling him, you got to turn your body cam off. Anyway, they're being unruly. This restaurant has asked them to leave. Okay. And she's trying to say, well, you have to turn your body cam off. You can't do this. And the friend here is like, well, she's an attorney. And the cop's like, I don't give a crap. Okay. So anyway, apparently she was seen getting into a police car and the door was shut in her face as they were saying, hey, I'm an attorney general. Flanagan's facing charges of willful trespass, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest. She's reportedly worked in attorney general's office for about 7 years. And it's quite funny. All right. So you hear me every once in a while, we get this stupid, weird sound thing. Let me see if I can bring it over here onto this other screen and maybe it will work. All right. So I need you guys to tell me whether or not you're hearing this.
Trespass, yeah. I just need trespass. Got to know. Please.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
All right. Sounds like she's telling her friend you're going to ruin our lives, and her friend is saying, "No, I'm not. I'm not." So anyway, let me know if you can hear this clip.
Ask you to
I don't want to deal with this. Let's
okay.
go.
No. I understand you don't want to deal with it, but the protocol is,
Wait,
and your protocol is if I ask you to turn off the body cam, you have to turn it off, and that's your protocol.
She's a lawyer, so she knows.
Well, that's lawyer stuff, so that's not true. So we got to go.
No, it is. That's law.
I'm an
What's she
AG.
saying?
I'm an AG.
Good for you. I don't give a shit. Let's go. We're going. Let's go. We're leaving. We're leaving.
These chicks are wasted, man.
Children out of here. Like, I don't know why.
I'm sorry. What?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
They're two full-grown women and mothers of children. All right.
You're just being detained. You're just being detained.
I'm an AG. I'm an AG. What are you? What are your
What's wrong with you?
What are your probable cause to detain me for?
You're being detained because you're not leaving.
Because I'm what? You have.
Can you relax, sir? Sir, she's not doing anything wrong.
AG.
She's not leaving.
I'm an AG.
She's the AG.
I'm an AG.
You're not. She's not being arrested. Let's go.
I'm not being arrested. You're putting me in cuffs. I'm not being
Okay,
arrested.
do you have any weapons on you?
No. I'm an AG.
Her badge is in the car. You want to go get a badge?
Let me tell you something. You're
Buddy,
arrested.
get the hell out of here. Buddy, just seriously.
No, I'm an AG. Let me tell you something.
You want to arrest right now? No.
You're putting me in handcuffs and you're Mirandizing. You're not Mirandizing me.
They don't have to Mirandize you when they put you in cuffs. She knows that. They just won't leave this freaking wine bar.
But you're gonna regret this.
Yeah.
You're gonna regret it. I'm an AG.
You're gonna regret it.
We will get the license.
Hands off
Okay,
me.
we will get the license.
No.
No. We'll get the license.
Get out of here.
This cop is just like, I've had it. I've had it talking with
No.
these drunken winos.
Yep.
Right here.
By the way, if these girls were black, I mean, this would be a national travesty. By the way, we know that, right?
I'm right here. Come on, babe.
No.
What happened? I missed that. She had a spin move out of that. You know, a little sorority chick, spin move out of the. Well, let's watch this.
Get back right now. You're data team.
No.
Get back.
Wait for it.
Your cuffs. Yep.
I'm right here. It's okay.
All right, just go from the
right
car.
here. No. I'm right here. I'm right here.
Wow, she slipped the cuff,
Come on, babe.
No.
and now she tries to fight the cop.
All right.
Babe, I'm right here.
No, babe, please, I'm scared.
I'm right here.
Please don't do this. Please don't do this.
Please, I'm scared. Have you noticed this? This is what criminals, this is what people say when they're getting arrested. I'm scared, so I'm going to fight a cop. You idiot. You idiot. Just, again, nobody... You don't fight a cop. You live to fight another day. You don't fight a cop. By the way, these people are wasted, so they have no ability to reason. They also have no idea how annoying they are.
No, I'm not going to put my hands on that.
I'm right here.
No.
Okay.
No, please don't do this to my friend.
I'm right here.
No,
Right
no,
here.
She still resists. I mean, this is so stupid.
Babe.
I'm right here.
Babe,
No,
help me, babe.
Relax. Relax.
No,
Relax.
What's wrong with you?
Relax.
We don't want to put you in handcuffs.
What's wrong with you? I love the cops' questions. Like, just leave. Like, what is wrong with you? What is your problem?
Let's go.
No, babe.
Babe.
You're overreacting.
You're adding charges.
You're overreacting.
You're overreacting.
No. Please take my hands up. Please take them out of hands up. No, please take them.
You were overreacting. You didn't have to have this happen. Get in the car.
No. Babe, no!
Babe.
No!
Babe, help me, babe.
No!
Babe, no.
In the car.
No!
Get your feet in the car.
Oh my gosh, Godzilla come out.
Get your feet in the car.
Hey, I'm right here.
Wow, I am sure she is not a spoiled brat, which, by the way, she has more cojones than her boyfriend does, by the way. I mean, he's over there like, I'm okay, you know. Now, he's being smart, but obviously, dude, you got to get a hold of your lady here. You let her have too much out in public, and now, you know, Godzilla is coming out.
No!
Get your feet in the car.
Who the fuck are...
Get
Don't
your
touch
feet
me!
in the car. You're a grown adult. You're acting like a kid.
Dan! Dan! No! Who the fuck are you? This is so inappropriate! You're overreacting! Dan!
I think you'd have to slam her leg in the door by that point. I mean, wouldn't you? Anyway, that is just golden for the, kind of the, do you know who I am crowd. They messed around and found out, didn't they? I think that's a fair assessment of that, right? All right, couple more things real quick. If you want to support what we're doing, Cash App or Venmo right now at IkeReport.com. Cash App or Venmo right now at IkeReport.com or in the chat on Rumble. David Sling says, I voted for that. And Tracy says, what a lunatic. What a lunatic. Yeah. This guy's probably like, you know what? Actually, I'm going to have one of the most peaceful nights I've had in a while. Go ahead and take her to jail. I'm going to go back and hit the scene here, you know? Sorry, babe. I can't do anything, babe. I'm trying, babe. I'll see you at the police station, babe. As soon as they leave, he's like, let's get the heck out of here. Yeah, party time. Bridezilla or whatever is over there in the cop car. My gosh. Anyway, let's see. Matt Schlapp at CPAC saying that the mayor of D.C., Muriel Bowser, is saying she needs 500 more cops. She owns this, as do those who pushed a monument to BLM outside the White House. If you constantly attack your own cops, don't be surprised if their neighbors pass on filling open slots. Basically, it's no wonder people don't want to be cops because you've demonized them and you have, essentially created and advocated for the pedestal of people that are anti-cop. How about that? All right. Cash App or Venmo, IkeReport.com. Also, hey, help us out. Give us a heart on the post and repost. Give me a follow if you're not following me. I'll be on Newsmax tomorrow morning at 8:10 a.m. Eastern Time, joining Mark and Charlotte with Wake Up America. So I hope you'll be able to check that out. All right, let me see here. I'm trying to get today's Triggered Liberal going. Oh, my gosh. All right. There we go. All right. So today's triggered liberal is none other than Jasmine, the has-been Crockett.
It's time for today's triggered liberal.
I get that you took your hood off, but your hood is still there. Like
Okay,
we
all right. Yeah, we got it. So
see
I
it. Like we see it. We
oh
know.
My, oh my gosh!
Texas,
please stop.
Texas.
All right. So here she is
Texas.
talking about Texas redistricting.
Texas. So all of the races feel away when you call them exactly what they are. When you say, oh, you guys are racist and you guys are trying to implement racist practices with these racist maps, right? So, you know, people getting their feelings, oh, how dare you? It's like, bro, I get that you took your hood off, but your hood is still there. Like we see it. Like we see it. We know what we see, okay? Texas.
Okay, so she's
what we see, okay?
She's basically saying that the people of Texas are like the KKK for redistricting. Oh, and then listen to this.
To my colleagues in California.
Now we're talking about California.
Got this together, did not fight about lines whatsoever. Big ups to their state assembly, as well as their state senate, as well as obviously their governor for stepping up to the plate and saying, Texas may want to play, but guess what? California can play too. Big ups to my colleagues.
All right,
got this together, did not fight about lines whatsoever.
She's talking about.
Big ups to
please
their state
shut up.
assembly, as well as their state senate, as well as obviously.
Okay, so she is sitting here saying that when Texas redistricts, they have their hood on and they're the KKK. But when California does it, then, you know, big ups to them. And this is a great thing. I mean, what a psycho. This happened late last night. Basically, this meltdown calling for the redistricting in Texas, labeling it racist and applauding California for doing the exact same thing. What an idiot. Jasmine Crockett, because of the redistricting in Texas, will likely potentially lose her seat and then will be known affectionately by all of us as not Jasmine Crockett, but has-been Crockett.
It's time for today's triggered liberal.
All right, my friends, that is going to do it for today's show. I hope you'll join me tomorrow morning at 8:10 a.m. Eastern time on Newsmax. Thank you guys for being here. If you want to support what we are doing, again, you can do so via Cash App or Venmo at IkeReport.com. Thank you to our sole contributor, Cap Hill, for the $20 contribution to help us cover our cost. I hope you guys have a fantastic afternoon. We'll be with you soon. Make sure you're marking your notifications on X. Okay, mark it on X. Mark it on Rumble. And join the Ike Nation Locals group, ikenation.locals.com. And that will give you what you need to know to tune into the show. All right. I hope you have a fantastic Tuesday. Remember, never stop being a free and critical thinker, because the truth is always worth it.
Rate, subscribe, and leave a review. It's how we get the word out amidst the chaos. Thanks for listening to the Ike Wingate Show.